Dude, where's my car? We have a lot of racing to do.
That includes CART, who will lead the way at Monterey. We'll talk live to the winner and visit Fundadora Park for post-race analysis.
I know it's around here somewhere, maybe down this row.
IndyCars search for speed in the Valley of the Sun, while Formula One drivers deal with oppressive heat in Malaysia, with a couple of underrated teammates on the front row.
Hey guys, don't start without me.
Wouldn't think of it, Dave. We'll sprint to the finish and make sure you have a ride as Speed News rolls on.
Welcome to Speed News. We're here to crank out a half hour of fast-paced racing highlights. I'm Dave Despaigne.
I'm Ralph Shaheen. We'll load you up with IRL and Formula One highlights and sound bites, but we begin with Champ Cars, south of the border. At CART's season opening event in St. Petersburg, rookie Sebastian Bourdais quickly made it known that he had every intention of challenging Paul Tracy for the title. Tracy got the better of that battle. Round 2 in Mexico would start the same way, with Bourdais and Tracy on the front row. As the field goes green, it's Sebastian Bourdais on the pole and the early leader. Young Frenchman definitely has the speed. Second caution of the day comes out for Patrick Lemarié, who stalls. Tracy takes the player's machine to pit row. Now, Bourdais doesn't hear the crew telling him to pit and stays out, a costly mistake. The third caution waves for the spinning Rodolfo Levine. Now, Bourdais will pit here, and he stalls, compounding his pit problems, and drops from the lead to 16th. On board with Oriol Servia, who loses it on the rumble strips and slams into the tires, bringing out the fourth caution. Oriol was okay. Tracy pits, he too stalls, no problem for PT. He had a healthy lead. Now the Rocket Sports crew finishes their service for Alex Tagliani. Good stop, but the Rahal crew was much quicker. Michel Jourdain, here he comes. Beasts out tags for second place. Bourdais was screening back up through the pack, but smacked the wall, breaks the right rear suspension, he's out. Best onboard video award goes to Darren Manning, who catches Mario Dominguez on tape as he flies over Manning's rear tire and his helmet. Tracy takes the checkers, winning the first 2 races of the year to become the first kart driver to accomplish that feat since the Rocket Man Rick Mears back in 1982.
And it was our intention to have Paul Tracy with us live, but as you may be able to imagine, he had a few post-race commitments. Fortunately, Calvin Fish is now 2 for 2. He hooked up with Paul in victory lane, and they talked about today's excitement.
The Canadians are going to be celebrating all right. PT, second win in a row. What a great drive today for you.
I need to work on my donuts a little bit. That was embarrassing.
Practice.
That was embarrassing.
Tell us about the run now. Michelle looked strong in the middle part of the race, but you responded. But the big scare for you was that stall on the second pit stop.
No, we figured out there was an issue with the pit speed limiter, and we turned it off on the second one and just went out without the pit speed limiter and kept it below 50. But the car was great all day. I mean, I just made one little mistake and went off the track and lost a little bit of time to Michelle, but I was able to make it back up pretty easily. And you know, team did a great job. Team players, we had the best tires out here with Bridgestone, and I was able to pull away whenever I wanted to.
There were some bizarre decisions by other teams running up front on when they pitted. Neil said he was second-guessing himself. Were you asking questions?
Well, I knew that when they called me in and I saw Bourdais didn't come in, I said, this is the same scenario as St. Pete. I got back out in 4th. I got Moreno right away, and I knew that I was going to be able to keep the pace with him, so he was pretty much done because I had fresh tires. So, you know, we're making the right calls, and I just got to work on my donuts.
PT, great job. The miles on the bike are working off, mate.
Thank you.
We'll have a look at your top 10 here, and note that Jourdain and Fernandez kept the home crowd entertained. 2 Mexicans finishing inside the top 5. Alex Yoong scoring a debut top 10, coming over from Formula One.
I think I could sometimes do a lap as fast as him, but not all the time, you know. His car was so good, and he was driving really good, you know, so he was really tough. I think we were faster than everybody else, but we just couldn't stay with him.
It's always difficult when you compete with big teams with big budget and a lot of big program. You know, it's the best day for a start of a scene like that.
For us, I'm just happy to finish, you know. From here, we just have to build up, and what a better place to return in the top here in Monterey.
At the end, I tried to make a couple positions, but it was a bit too optimistic and stalled the car. I was hoping to turn it around and start it again, but I couldn't do it, but we tried it. Still finished 8th. It was good that we finished.
I think Manning just maybe lost it under break and got in the side of me, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing to run the whole race and then come away with nothing, but that's racing, right?
I'm really disappointed about that. I've got to say a big sorry to him, really, you know, because we gave each other really good respect through the whole of the race. You know, we were really wheel to wheel. I did him when he made a mistake. He did me when I made a mistake. But, you know, just got offline under braking and locked up and just tagged him.
Here's the rest of the results. Jimmy Vasser started last after suffering through mechanical problems, battled up to 6th, ends up 14th. Corday starts the first 2 races from the pole, finished 11th at St. Pete, 17th today. Speed Channel's Bob Varsha and Tommy Kendall break it down for us.
Thanks, guys. Well, TK, it may have taken Paul Tracy 13 seasons to do it, but with his 21st win today, his 2nd straight this season, looks like he's shaken the old image.
That's no question about it. It used to be hard to root for Paul Tracy. It was a lot of unrealized potential. Really fast, but often came short of getting the job done. Now, it's ironic that that is Sebastian Bourdais, unquestionably quick, but has not been able to deliver the goods. It's not as simple as that with Paul, because he was carrying around a lot of extra weight. Now he's gotten in phenomenal shape, and Kart's equalized the weight. That's leading to a lot less chances he has to take. He's able to qualify better, and the results show.
It's almost eerie the way Sebastian Bourdais has thrown it away the last 2 races. Questionable pit strategy, and then a crash.
Yeah, and so Newman Haas has made a couple questionable calls. His response wasn't great at St. Pete. Same thing again here. Initially regrouped, but tried to make up too much coming into the pits, and that was it.
History for Paul Tracy, winning the first 2 races this season. Great races for Michel Jourdain Jr. in 2nd, Alex Tagliani in 3rd. Good day all around here in Mexico. Now it's on to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach in April. For Tommy Kendall, I'm Bob Varsha. Let's get it back to the studio in Charlotte.
Thanks, Bob. Tracy picks up career kart victories numbers 20 and 21 in the first 2 races of 2003 and extends his points lead. Jourdain sits 11 back in 2nd. 5th place Alex Tagliani picked up valuable points with his 6th career kart top 3. America's other major open-wheel organization cuts loose for a duel in the desert. IndyCar highlights and post-race interviews from Phoenix coming up on Speed News.
But next, that young gun phenomenon finds its way to Formula One. A first-time winner and a fresh face on the podium, along with Peter Windsor's post-race report from Malaysia.
The latest Formula One news is brought to you by BMW.
And now to the Malaysian Grand Prix. 2nd race under new Formula One rules requiring cars to start the race with the setup and the fuel load with which they qualified. Those who made jokes about how little fuel the Renaults must have carried in order to sweep the front row in qualifying thoroughly enjoyed the crow that we all had for lunch. When the race time temperature gets to 100 degrees, one would rather not be jogging in a driver's suit. Jacques Villeneuve's electrical problems on the parade lap sent him dashing for the backup, but he's not allowed to use the backup at that point, so he runs back to the broken car, and the party starts without him. Michael Schumacher launched from 3rd, unworried, he said, about Renault's qualifying heroics. Watch David Coulthard jump to the inside and know that Schumacher was deeply concerned about beating the Australia winner to the first spot behind the Renaults, so much so that he stuffed Jarno Trulli in turn 2, triggered carnage that killed the hopes of Juan Pablo Montoya, among others. There's Ralf Schumacher, Montoya's teammate, slipping through to rank as the big winner in all this. Replay shows that those behind playing dodgeball suffered the worst. Shrapnel representing Montoya's involvement goes sailing. Schumacher needed a new nose and got a drive-through penalty and need not have worried. Coulthard's Williams Mercedes lost electrics on lap 2, big hit in the points. Turns out that Renault's Fernando Alonso, youngest pole sitter in history, actually only made 2 stops, same as Kimi Raikkonen, whose McLaren Mercedes took the lead at Alonso's first gas up and ran unchallenged to a 39.2-second margin of victory over Schumacher's teammate Rubens Barrichello. Great day for F1's new brigade. Alonso's podium, first ever for a Spaniard, came despite a brutal fever. And Kimi, 23 years and 207 days old, the 3rd youngest Grand Prix winner in history. We mentioned Ralph's good fortune, started 17th, finished 4th. Trulli came back to beat Michael, some vindication there perhaps, and the 5-time champ quickly went to the Renault driver and apologized afterward. Heidfeld and Button got the last of the points. 13 cars were running at the end, including Montoya in 12th, Fisichella and Villeneuve failing to complete a lap.
Speed Channel's Peter Windsor has survived the blazing heat, stifling humidity, and the monsoon rains to tell us more about a big weekend for Raikkonen and Renault at the Malaysian Grand Prix.
His colleagues say that even in finish, Kimi Räikkönen doesn't say very much, so it was a good job he dominated the Malaysian Grand Prix. Not difficult for him to find the right word to describe his victory. Easy.
It was quite easy actually. Of course the beginning of race was more difficult. I was pushing hard to try to catch the Renault. I was able to getting closer little by little, and then they bit in before us, and then we was able to go still quick.
The people thought that we were much lighter than at the end we were, but you know, we proved that we are very competitive in this type of tracks, and Brazil will be one again that I think we will be very competitive.
The race was defined, of course, by a first corner accident between Michael Schumacher and Jarno Trulli. Schumacher ran right into the back of Trulli, was penalized for that, and this is what Trulli had to say afterwards.
I gained at the first corner, then at the second corner I think Michael hit me on the back and just spun. That was a bad moment, one of the worst moments of the race, because I lost all the position and basically I start from the last.
Have you spoken to Michael, or has he spoken to you afterwards?
Yeah, he came straight after the race to apologize, and you know, the only thing I can say is that I accept his apologize, because it's part of the races.
Too early to say that these successive McLaren-Mercedes victories spell a new era in Formula One. What we can perhaps say is that winning the pole these days doesn't necessarily guarantee you a Grand Prix win. Indeed, Kimi Räikkönen's a good example. Starting in the midfield is where you want to be.
Only 2 races in, but the points are getting interesting in the driver's standings. Kimi has his first win and the lead with teammate Coulthard in second. Then his 5 drivers tied with 8 points, earned in a variety of combinations, driving 3 different brands of cars, which leads us to the constructors' standings, where with their drivers 1 and 2, McLaren also has a manufacturer's lead. The Scuderia Ferrari is tied with the possibly for real Renaults for second, 10 points behind McLaren.
We have a double dose of dirt track sprint car coverage coming up. Watch the World of Outlaws and SCRA drivers pitching their snarling beast sideways.
Then we'll add fenders, asphalt, and slicks for the ASA opener in Florida.
We go now to the IRL's IndyCar Series at Phoenix International Raceway. Scott Dixon came in with the point lead, having won the series opener in Homestead. To get out of this one with nothing worse than a broken transmission, he might consider himself lucky. We go to the tape. Tony Kanaan, the pole sitter. Spotter mistakenly told him 1 lap to green. He gets overwhelmed at the start. Dixon takes the lead. Gilles de Ferran has a relatively harmless spin here. There is a big one coming for him, though. And then Sam Hornish, the defending series champion, crashes after colliding with A.J. Foyt IV. Here's the black flag for Dixon. The New Zealander had a transmission leaking. Michael Andretti and Tomas Scheckter bump. Andretti's car may have been hurt in the suspension. We don't know because he doesn't pit. He's saving fuel. He's on an economy strategy. Kanaan tops off at the end of this caution. Restart, Felipe Giafoni passing Michael, and then de Ferran charging, goes 3 wide with Scheckter and Dario Franchitti for 4th. Scott Sharp and Robbie Buell collide. Debris caution, the leaders pit, and this time Kanaan will stay out. Sarah Fisher also stayed on the racetrack playing this fuel strategy game. Here she is second behind Kanaan, but she needs a caution. She gets it. She didn't need the problem getting the left front wheel back onto the car. As a result, she's downfield. We go to the restart. Helio Castro Neves challenging Kanaan for the lead. Helio won it last year. He doesn't get by. Then Franchitti blows up. Bad day for Andretti Green Racing, about to get worse. Watch the big hit as de Ferran and Andretti race for position. They touch wheels and try to knock down the turn 1 wall. Michael walked away. The fire is harmless oil. De Ferran bumped up pretty good, as we'll tell you in a moment. Kanaan wins the thing. His first IRL victory for the only Andretti Green race car still running at the finish.
Tony Kanaan takes a victory over last year's winner, Helio Castroneves. Former Phoenix winner Scott Sharp crossed the line in 7th. Phoenix native Buddy Rice was 9th. Former series titleist Buddy Lazier ended the day in 11th. Roger Yasukawa, involved in a crash in his first visit to the Desert Oval, sits 17th on the final rundown. Afterwards, we talked to some of the key players.
I had a car capable of winning. I don't know, he just drilled me. I thought I gave him room. I really went in high knowing he was coming, and I was sideways before the corner. I don't know, he just misjudged or something.
It was a shame that I had a really great car. Tony was a little bit quicker than, you know. I really want to thank my guys because, I mean, we never a lot of sport in the track, and I lost one in to Helio, you know, at the track. So they did a great job. But I mean, it wasn't our day, but we're very close, and I'm happy to see that the cars and the team is working very well.
We tried to save fuel to be able to finish the race, and well, when they said time to go, I had a one little bit. Still, the tire is still very good to make an attempt at the pass. Not quite enough, unfortunately. But again, third, second. Hey, let's keep working this way. We're probably going to work way up.
That's racing, and I know Helio really well. We play clean, we play fair. And been battling with this guy since '86, so I knew his moves. He knew my moves, and hopefully it'll work out okay for me.
Canon takes the points lead, 9 markers ahead of Castroneves. Homestead winner Dixon is third. We have an update now for you on Gilles de Ferran. Our Speed News team in Phoenix says he was taken by ambulance to a hospital. He was awake and alert, but complaining of back pain. Doctors say de Ferran has a concussion and a minor fracture in his lower back. He'll be kept overnight. Now, for further updates, go to our website, speedtv.com. If you don't want to know the results of this weekend's USAC races in Phoenix before they air on Speed Thursday night, then I suggest you go let the dog out now, because we're about to reveal the winners. The Silver Crown Trophy goes to pole sitter Dave Steele. He led 85 of the 100 laps Sunday, beating Tracy Hines and Dave Darland. Reigning series champ J.J. Yaley was the only other driver to lead a lap. He finished fourth.
And Troy, Ohio's Aaron Pollock surprised the field in Saturday's 25-lap midget feature. Pollock took the lead, lap 19. Leaders Michael Lewis, Jay Drake, and Tracy Hines all crashed. Yaley second, the defending series champ Dave Darland third. We go from the pavement to the dirt. Let's tackle this week's sprint car highlights.
With tear-offs in place, we begin our coverage with 2 nights of O'Reilly's World of Outlaws action. Friday night, Magnolia, Mississippi. Joey Saldana, white 17, gets a great drive off the bottom and take the lead away from Jeff Shepard. Steve Kinzer smacks the wall, lap 24, cuts the right rear down. During the same yellow, Saldana suffers a broken rod in the engine as well as rear end problems. He's done. Shepard takes the win in the Vibrant car. Saturday night, Houston, Texas. Steve Kinzer is the leader when Kurt Trainer smacks one of those suspension-busting white tires, ending his night. The King shows his nose wing to the slower car of Jeremy Campbell, who immediately gets out of Steve's way. Fortunately, he's now in the way of Craig Delansky, running in second. Lap 29, the 83 of Tim Schaefer takes over fourth in front of Shane Stewart and Danny Lasowski. Steve Kinzer drove the Quaker State entry to a 10-car length win over Delansky and Schaefer, who worked his way up to third.
On to the SCRA sprints at famed Manzanita Speedway outside Phoenix. 2-night show. First night was all the gas man. This is Richard Griffin catching the first lapper on lap 5. The big lead, though, goes away. Lap 10, J.J. Yaley's car quit. Doesn't matter. Gas man smoked him. So let's see what happened last night. Beginning with a wild heat race flip for Nick Lima. Hit the wall, went way airborne. Nick will have red eyes for a few days, but he's okay. Bobby Cody's been on a run of bad luck that continues. He too's all right. Troy Rutherford in yellow battling Griffin for the early lead while Jeremy Sherman was coming through the traffic, and he slid that black 21 up in front of Rutherford, and that was the end of that. The race is the Gary Sokola Classic, and Sherman came from 15th place to win it.
Plenty of options for your viewing pleasure now that the racing season is up to full speed.
Indeed, we offer you a fast lap now of the Advanced Auto Parts Racing Calendar.
Speed News is brought to you by Circuit City. We know the excitement you feel about the latest digital toys. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by Drakkar Noir, a fragrance for men.
Toyota Atlantics were also in Mexico today. Trouble before this one even got started. Kyle Krisloff gets together with Romain Dumas, knocking Krisloff out of the race. When the race went green, the yellow car of A.J. Allmendinger hits pole sitter Luis Diaz from behind. Both would continue while Joey Hand slides through to take the lead. Michael Valiente then runs down and passes Joey Hand for the top spot. Joey would DNF due to mechanical problems. Valiente would check out. At the finish is Valiente picking up the win, while Danica Patrick becomes the first woman in the series history to earn a podium finish.
A little last-minute stock car action. ASA in Florida last night. We'll start with Miller. Jeremy, who hit walls on both sides of the track. And from there we go to the Flamer. That's Brett Sontag out in a blaze of glory that also caught up past champ Darius St. Amant, who was mad. We will finish with Miller. 52-year-old Butch taking the lead from Kevin Sawinski. Oh, there was this big wreck. Beebe, Stevens, Daughtry, Allen, and Beatty all involved, but that didn't change anything. 5-lap dash to the finish. 47th career win for Butch, who's third on the all-time ASA list.
The high-altitude aerialists of the AMA Supercross Series were busy buzzing the Jumbotron hanging from the roof of the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis last night. 250 points leader Ricky Carmichael fell down, got up, and worked his Honda back up to second behind race winner Chad Reed and his Yamaha, which is second in the 250 points. In the 125 race, points leader Brandon Jessamine overcame a horrible start on his Suzuki to win. Steve Boniface rode his KTM to a career-best second-place finish.
And time to wrap it up. First of all, I apologize for misidentifying the location of Jimmy Clark's first ever win in a rear-engine car. That was at Milwaukee, not Phoenix. Never trust those memory cells. And we are now officially a half hour behind schedule for the rest of the night. Everything that's scheduled to run tonight will run in its entirety. It'll just run a half hour late. I'm Dave Despayne.
I can't believe you made a mistake here. I thought you knew everything. At least that's what he tells me.
Fading memory cells.
I'm Ralph Shahid. Speed News will be back next Saturday night at 7 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Speed News is presented by Circuit City. For motorsports coverage when you want it, log on to speedtv.com.